If you need to teach 2 and 3-year-olds dance and movement in a classroom, but you're struggling a little bit with the structure of it, this is the video for you. I'm going to help you with 3 key elements that we use every single day. My team and I work with thousands of kids every single term, and we've coached thousands of teachers on how to run successful dance and movement sessions in their classroom. So stick around and let's see if we can help you get some structure in those classrooms. Now, how do we get structure for 2 and 3-year-olds? Now, I know it sounds pretty tough, but it is absolutely possible. Structure equals calm. And structure also equals safety, but more about that with the older groups. Sometimes it's the first time that these kids have done dance and movement anywhere. They might have done a little bit at home, but now they're doing it in a group in the classroom. So let's talk about physical boundaries. Physical boundaries equal calm spaces. Now, when I'm creating physical spaces for the kids, what I would really love, perfect world, if you don't have too many kids, is them being in a straight line. So if there's a wall that you can actually use to line the kids up so that you are the key focus of the room and they don't have anyone that they can notice on their peripheral or in front of them apart from a teacher, that would be ideal. Alternatively, I would also use spots, colored spots on the floor. Each color, name, they're on the spot, sitting with crisscross applesauce legs, or at least around that. We know that they're wriggly at this age, but if they can stay on their spots, that would be fantastic. And what we want to do is we want to structure the actual lesson so that any single time we need to go back to a base, we are going back to those physical spaces. This creates a very clear idea about where we're going if nothing is happening in the classroom. If you're looking for music, if you're searching for props, we actually go back to those spaces, and those guys get used to going back to a place that is nice and organized. They don't feel like it's chaotic. You don't feel like it's chaotic, and the room is nice and calm, if possible. Right, now let's talk about setting expectations for this group. Setting expectations is looking for the best outcome for the actual lesson. It can also mean rewards. And those are rewards for effort, because at this age, unlike your 4 and 5-year-olds, sometimes these guys are just trying to get through the lesson and understand what is actually happening in the room. So we can't be too harsh with them. We need to let them know this is what we expect from you, and if you could actually achieve a little bit of it, that would be fantastic. And if you do a really good job and you try your absolute best, you are definitely going to get a reward at the end. This keeps little minds active. Oh my goodness, I'm going to get a reward at the end of this. I'm going to give it my absolute best. Now, I understand some people like to take the rewards out of it because they like the process to be about self-improvement all the time, but that's probably for kids that are a little bit older. These guys at the moment, we just need to get them moving in a really organized fashion. Now, when I set expectations going into a classroom, what I will say to them is, okay guys, we need to make sure that we stay at these spots, and if I say this keyword, we're going to go back to our spots, and if we don't do that, then we can't continue with the rest of the lesson, or I won't put the music on, or worst case scenario, I will be grumpy. It's totally fine to say with this age group, actually, if we don't achieve this, if there's too much chaos in the room, if we're screaming, if we're moving around when we shouldn't, if we're not listening, then we may not get the reward. This sets their expectation about how they need to act in the classroom, and they start to get it. Now, which brings me to my third point, which is the most important part of this. Okay, let's talk about consistency. So once you've set your physical boundaries, you're setting expectations about how you want the class to run, we need to talk about consistency. Now, consistency is better learning in general. So what you need to make sure is that if you are setting all these boundaries, if you're setting expectations at every single lesson and every single time, you are actually enforcing them obviously in a very gentle way. We're talking about 2 and 3-year-olds, but you need to make sure that they understand, actually, this is what expected. And it may not happen in the first 1 or 2 sessions that you do, but over time, it definitely will happen, and they will understand, oh, okay, I know the prompt for this, and this means that we do that. So consistency equals better learning. Every single lesson, you will find improvements, and some kids may not get it in the first few sessions, but after a few, they'll be like, oh, I know exactly what's expected in order to get that reward at the end. And so I'm gonna be better behaved, I'm gonna listen more, and then there's less chaos over time. And when there's less chaos over time, we learn so much faster. And so much faster, we get a lot more done, and actually, we can go bigger and better every single lesson we do. We can learn a few more steps, we can learn maybe a full dance, you might be able to get kids doing things on their own. So the idea here is to create really nice structure within the classroom so that you can get the best out of it every single time you go back to your dance and movement sessions. The big thing is we've got movement and we've got the potential of moving around the classroom, maybe running sometimes, especially with 2 and 3 year olds, until they actually learn that they have to move their body in particular ways. So there's already an element of chaos. So the more that we can kind of rein it in before we get started and apply this structure, the best chance we have of having a successful time with our 2 and 3 year olds and letting them get the most out of it, and you get the most out of it, and you don't go crazy. So I hope that's helped you understand a little bit more how to structure a class. Now, one thing I would say is if you can get the timing of the class just right, then you'll be onto an absolute winner. So check out our video about how to time a class absolutely perfect, and you'll be on your way. Also, don't forget to have a look at some of the free downloadables in the description and leave us a comment and let us know how you went.
Woke up late,